Welcome back. If you've just joined us, you're watching the news at 10 live on Channels Television. A reminder of our top stories. Global attention turns to Windsor Castle as Prince Harry and Meghan are joined as husband and wife in an event at the St. George's Chapel, graced by an enchanting array of personalities. The All Progressives Congress holds state congresses across the country as crisis in some states' chapters of the party deepens. The People's Democratic Party, the PDP, alleges plots by the ruling APC to muzzle the opposition and rope some individuals with trumped-up charges. And Cuba declares 2 days of national mourning following the deaths of over 100 people in a plane crash in Havana. ChannelsTV.com has more information for you, and on YouTube.com/channelsweb you can watch our videos. You can also watch us on your mobile device via your browser or download the Channels TV app for Android, iOS and Windows devices from their respective stores. Besides giving you access to news and updates on the go, the Channels TV and Channels 24 app have an Eyewitness feature that you can use to share those pictures, videos or news of happenings around you. Just install the app, then tap and swipe to reveal the menu and follow the instructions. And here are some of the pictures you sent in. Let's begin with this image showing the aftermath of a rainfall which flooded the Turaini graveyard in Kano State. Our Eyewitness reporter says that many graves have swamped in and wants the state government to do something urgently about it. And this picture from Lagos State shows a transformer box and an empty space for its feeder at Roju Avenue in Ojota. Our Eyewitness reporter claims the transformer blew up on the 14th of April this year and was taken away by members of the community who have not heard from the Ikeja electricity distribution company since then. They are pleading with them to restore the electricity, reduce the bills given to them, and also distribute prepaid meters within the neighborhood. And still in Ojota area of Lagos State is this picture showing weak poles with high-tension cables lined up in Kojore Street. Our Eyewitness reporter is calling on the attention of Ikeja Electricity, whom they have also accused of exorbitant billings, to attend to their situation. And our final image shows evictees of Otodobame on a flotilla procession to drive home their demands for resettlement after the demolition of their waterfront settlement. They are calling on the Lagos State government to obey court judgment which calls for their resettlement. We do sincerely thank you for sending in those pictures, as we ask that you keep them coming. Our Channels Television, your multiple award-winning station, will bring you a new weekly program titled The Senate This Week. This new program seeks to bring to you details of activities of the Senate, Senate President and distinguished senators of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, as well as opinions of former Senate presidents and legislators in the country. The Senate This Week debuts tomorrow, Sunday, May the 20th, on DSTV at 6:30 p.m. and on our terrestrial platforms at 7:30 p.m. Please join us. We told you earlier that members of the All Progressives Congress today returned to their states as the party continues to hold congresses to elect their new leaders who will lead the party at different levels. Our correspondents monitored the exercise, and the next report focuses on the states where the congresses was peacefully conducted.
Security was considerably available from the entrance of the trade fair complex in Kaduna up to the hall where delegates from the 23 local government areas of the state converged to elect the state leadership of the All Progressives Congress. Governor Nasir El-Rufai led other notable members of the party to take part in the exercise. A 36-member state executive was elected through a consensus arrangement, including retired Air Commodore Emmanuel Jakada as chairman.
We shall work with sincerity of purpose and diligence to ensure that this party grows from strength to strength.
I want to use this opportunity to thank all the party leaders here and congratulate all of you for the very smooth congresses we've had.
In Katsina State, over 1,800 delegates from the 361 wards of the state, including the state governor, took part in the exercise held at the Muhammadu Diko Stadium. The incumbent chairman of the party and 36 other members returned unopposed after an affirmative voting system.
In respect of this Congress that just took place, it was free and fair. And when we arrived, to make sure that we have been fair to everybody, on the 17th day of May 2018, we put an announcement on radio and televisions that we have arrived and formed our own cell at the State Secretariat.
The exercise was also conducted under stiff security at the El Kanemi Stadium in Maiduguri, the Borno State capital. It was peaceful, however, as 1,726 delegates voted to return the chairman and all 36 members of the State Executive Council. The Congress was peacefully conducted in Nasarawa State, but with a new twist, which is the endorsement of President Muhammadu Buhari for a second term.
That on behalf of all of us, we have unanimously accepted, supported, and ready to work to ensure the emergence and victory of President Muhammadu Buhari as the President of Nigeria in 2019.
From the north down to the south in Cross River State, the Congress was conducted in the main auditorium of the Cultural Center in Calabar. Through voice vote, Mr. Godwin John returned unopposed as the party's chairman, as well as most of the contestants for various positions.
Since everybody spoke with one voice, there's no need to queue behind anybody. APC is no longer that baby. APC is getting bigger. You understand? So it's out of people's pockets. So leave it to be free and open up and let people join so that we can win.
In Edo State, delegates went through security screening ahead of the Congress at the Maguero Hall in Benin City. The governor of the state, Godwin Obaseki, and his deputy were in attendance alongside representatives across the state. The Congress ended in a consensus as the leadership of the party returned unopposed.
Nobody was imposed. From the ward levels where people know themselves, they sat down and agreed and decided who they felt best to provide leadership. So that is what it was based on. There was inclusiveness and everybody participated.
In Anambra State, Southeast, the Congress was held at Professor Dora Akunyili Women Development Center, Awka. Unlike the local government Congress, this one was peaceful with accredited delegates, including the Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Chris Ngige. The party harmonized several positions, and Mr. Emeka Ibe, who was the immediate past chairman of the party, was re-elected through voice votes. A similar feat was recorded in Ebonyi State. Members of the All Progressives Congress gathered at the Nkwegu Battleground Arena in Mabakaleki to elect new state executives. Mr. Derin Adebi emerged as the state chairman of the party in a congress which was held under a peaceful atmosphere in Ogun State.
I want to commend all our party leaders, all our delegates. Well done, God bless all of you. There will be no governor if you don't have all of you. There will be no leader, all of you that we are doing. It is you that have that power.
With the state party congresses concluded in most states, attention now shifts to the National Congress. The party's internal democracy will again be tested.
And to some other states across the country where the exercise did not go as planned owing to a new catchphrase in the APC called Parallel Congress. In Lagos, Rivers, Kwara, it was peaceful, but in Ondo and Enugu, it was violent. In the meantime, the National Publicity Secretary of the All Progressives Congress, Bolaji Abdullahi, has announced that the National Working Committee of the party will not recognize any parallel congresses outside the ones conducted by the committee set up by the national body. He stated this today after the State Congress of the party held at the banquet hall outside, or rather opposite the government house in Ilorin. He noted that he received several calls about the crisis and from across the country, adding that those not conducted by the committee put in place by the party is an exercise in futility. And now to examine the outcome of the APC congresses and the questions bordering on party internal democracy, I'm now being joined live from our Abuja studios by the Executive Director, Partners for Electoral Reforms, Mr. Ezenwa Nwagu. I want to thank you so much indeed for coming on the news at 10 at this time. Now, this much we know, but the APC ward and local government congresses came with various levels of complaints and rancor. The state congresses themselves seems not to be different from the ones we saw last week. Tell us, what does this tell of democratic tenets for our people?
Well, thank you very much. What's very significant is that we are seeing the disappearance of political party politics. By this, I mean that the very essence of it is disappearing. And the idea is to have this bottom-up power dispersion rather than having it concentrate in an organ. So we've not seen electivity, we have not seen accountability, we've not seen transparency, we've not seen essentially participation, we have not seen representation and accountability. And these are the perhaps 6 ingredients that will make for really internal party democracy. What you have seen is the overbearing influence of governors. When they are electable, when they are coming back, they have dominated the space, they have exclusively hijacked the machinery of the party and foist what you now have as consensus. And once you continue to have consensus, it means that eligible aspiring members of the party who want to contest for both party offices will be denied that opportunity consistently. In fact, in some states, we've had the governors telling people to wait for God's time. And what that actually means is that, look, if we've excluded you, hand the matter over to God. And this does not augur well for democracy. It does not augur well for participation. It does not augur well for inclusivity. But we must also recognize for the Lagos primaries, where we saw in one of the primaries, the inclusion of people living with disabilities getting a position. I think that is something that we need to encourage and give a thumbs up for. But generally speaking, we need to get to that point where we open this space, where we stop constricting the political space and making it to consistently be dominated by those who have their hand in the public till. Once you have access to public treasury, then you use it to continue to dominate the space and want to foist, and those who, like I said, the overbearing the influence of the governors, where they are not contesting, they want to foist a surrogate. And that has become the challenge. And in the places where you are seeing crisis, it means that there are powerful people who are contesting that with the dominant forces in that state. And most of the time, if you are not seeing governors, you are seeing people who are former governors.
So what do you make of this new phrase that we hear, parallel congresses in the APC? How badly is that particular item hurting the APC, do you think?
Well, the idea of parallel congress is not new. It is a congress organized by those who are excluded from the mainstream. That is what it is. And then they get to the National Secretariat to see whether they can fight and get their own members in. It's as far back as 2003, 2007, even within when the PDP was the dominant political party, you also had, especially in a place like Kwara, you had continued to have parallel congresses. Rivers, of course, you know that most of the South State, the contestation in those places are almost almost very fierce at party primary level. If you recall, Bayelsa some few years back was the same way.
I must thank you so much indeed for talking to us here on the news at 10. Mr. Ezenwa Nwagu, the Executive Director, Partners for Electoral Reforms. Thank you so much. When the news at 10 returns, African Development Bank to sign agreement with United Nations Industrial Development Organization to boost industrialization for African economies. That's on Business News. Join us again.